All right, aloha. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Ken and Chair Herb, for giving me an opportunity to present this. This is my previous research have been done with my previous job, but nothing related to my current job. My name is Richard Kim. I'm a plant industry administrator for Department of Agriculture and Biosecurity. As a plant industry administrator, what I'm doing is I'm overseeing three different branches. Pesticide branches, and then plant quarantine branches, and then plant pest control branches, working mainly on promoting and the increasing all of the agricultural industry in Hawaii. And plus, as we know, we are working on the biosecurity as well. Just try to prevent any invasive species coming in, and how we can protect and how we can control those invasive species. That's my job. All right, next slide, please. Okay, in 2003, I got my doctoral degree from Kansas State University, and my doctoral degree was on wheat pathology, just mainly working on the disease-resistant wheat variety development. And that year, I went to the national conference, and I met Dr. Norman Blogg, who is the only agricultural scientist who got the Nobel Prize, Nobel Peace Prize in 1970. What he did was he improved the wheat variety for any fungal disease, and he increased a lot of the yield, and we consider as a green revolution. And at that meeting, somebody asked to Dr. Norman Blogg, and that time the GMO was hot topic. We're just talking about GMO all over the world. And somebody asked Dr. Norman Blogg, hey, what do you think about GMO? Because he's just classical genetics and cytogenetic pathologist. And he answered, okay, I only think about hunger. Okay. He was working with so many poor countries, and he see a lot of people is dying because of the hunger. So, and everybody was not talking about GMO anymore, but GMO is still debatable. But what I'm talking about here is, besides GMO, we are expecting 9.7 billion world population by 2050. And we have to increase 60% of the food to feed those increased population. How? We are not able to go to Mars and then plant something. We are limited resources, limited land, and even though all of the research we have been done by all of the brilliant scientists, we are not able to make 60% more food product to feed those people. One of the solutions I was thinking about is we are losing about 45% of the food product after harvest. So it's very rare. You're just talking about how to grow, how to maintain, how to make a soil better, but not many people talking about how to manage your product after harvest. So that's why I dedicate my passion for last 20 plus years, working on post-harvest fungal decay control, how to save our perishables after harvest. Next slide, please. Oh, one before. Oh, this. I think is this the next slide? I think the one. Go next one. Okay. All right. What happened after harvest? Fruit is still is kind of alive. What they do is just they use sugar combining with oxygen, and the fruit is consuming oxygen and release CO2 and heat. Okay, so usually how to prevent those respiration is this chemical process. It's mainly when they are consuming oxygen, we have to reduce the oxygen level. Then they have a small oxygen, and then they stop breathing. So we can slow down the respiration process. And also after harvest, when you put it in the storage room, they lose the water. So it's basically just dehydration. Fruit is getting lose the water contents. And also they produce volatile compound like ethylene. Ethylene make the fruit ripening, and then its ripening process make a lot of other problems. And also they got some fungal, mainly fungal pathogens going into the fruit, and they cause decays. That's the main reason we lose all of the fruit after harvest. Next slide, please. Okay, how we can prevent this post-harvest loss? Number one is make a cool, just store fruit in the cold temperature. That's the post-harvest 101. None of the technology so far is able to replace the cold. So that's why after you harvest, you have to store at optimum temperature. Some of the fruits going into almost 0 or -1 Celsius. But most of the tropical fruit is very sensitive to chilling injury. So you are not able to store at 0 degrees Celsius.
What's that temperature? Where do you run into trouble at chilling it?
Depending on the crops. So lower is better, but there's a threshold. What is the lowest temperature you can go without causing chilling injury? But chilling injury, there's like a hyperbaric technology. They can go a little bit lower than what typically is storing those fruit. I have some slides.
50 degrees on a lot of packages.
Right. So temperature is the one key, and then another one is that most of the fruit industry, they are using the controlled atmosphere. Basically, they reduce oxygen, increases CO2. Okay, that's how they manage the post-harvest life. And hyperbaric is the one of them. It's basically hyperbaric is low pressure. Just take air out and then reduce the oxygen inside. Okay. And then humidity control. Usually the fruit storage room just maintaining around 95% of the humidity. So just prevent the dehydration. And because there's a lot of fungal pathogen around on fruit, so they are utilizing ozone, UVC, or electrolyzed waters to prevent those decays. And last one is 1-MCP. So as I said, all of the climactic fruit, they produce a lot of ethylene. For example, apples, they produce a lot of ethylene. So if you store apples with bananas and your apple is gone, it's just going, yeah. Right. So 1-MCP, what this chemical do is they block the ethylene biosynthesis activities. So they block the ethylene synthesis. So that's the green revolution in post-harvest. They launched in 2002 in apple industry, and that time I learned why post-harvest technology is important, because after I finished my degree, I moved to Washington State, and that year, 2003, most of the apple industry applied 1-MCP, and then the company who are selling 1-MCP said, oh, well, 1-MCP can control decays. Don't use fungicide. So majority of the industry didn't use any fungicide that year, 2002 crop. And then they opened the storage room in 2003. And I've ever experienced almost 50% of the crop loss. Okay. So 1-MCP, what 1-MCP does is they slow the ripening process, but they can slow down the decay process as well, but they are not able to prevent decays. Okay? Next slide, please. So here's the hyperbaric systems. Hyperbaric technology is not new. This is a long history, almost 40, 50 years old history. 1969, United Fruit Company, they make an intermodal vacuum reefer container. And after that, 1978, 1996, there's a multiple effort they try to make intermodal vacuum reefer container. And one of the challenges, all of the previous container was, number one, it's too expensive. Number two is too heavy. And number three is keep leaking. So they have to vacuum 24/7. What that does is inside of the vacuum container is dehydrating. So they have to put the humidifier inside and generate more humidity inside and cause a lot of problem. That's how they fail. So my previous company, Wright Locker, they think, oh, this model size is a lot of challenge. Let's just make it smaller and then put the small plastic vacuum container inside of the regular reefer container. That's how they started the company. And first commercial launching was 2021. They launched almost same time for cut roses and then blueberries. Next slide, please. Okay, how the hyperbaric storage works. Okay, basically at sea level, I'm using only millibar. There's many units we can use for measuring pressures, but we only use millibar. At sea level, at here, we have about 1,000 millibar of air, and then 21% is oxygen, and very small amount of the carbon dioxide, and majority, 80% is the nitrogen. Okay? And controlled atmosphere storage, what the majority of the food industry is using, is basically they inject nitrogen inside, so they just push out the oxygen level. That's how they reduce the oxygen level. And then, as I said, fruit's still producing CO2, so they have to maintain certain amount of CO2, and then all excess CO2 they have to scrub. Okay, if the CO2 is too high, then there's a CO2 damage on fruit. Okay, low pressure. Many cases, low pressure and then hyperbaric is interchangeably using, but low pressure range is about 500 to 800 millibar range. So a much higher pressure than hyperbaric technology. So hyperbaric is much lower pressure. It's around 40 to 200 millibar range. And the low pressure conditions or hyperbaric conditions and overall oxygen level is almost same as controlled atmosphere, but nitrogen level is fluctuating. And when they are pumping out the air, what happens is the fruit still consuming oxygen. So oxygen levels keep going down and they generate CO2. But if we go down too much, then fruit is going to be fermentating. They are going into the anaerobic conditions. So we have to give small amount of oxygen every single time. But previous technology, intermodal technology, and because of the high leak rate, they always have some fresh oxygen coming in and going out. But this hyperbaric technology, they are not operating this vacuum 24/7. They just lock down the air, and then once the fruit consuming oxygen and then going into the threshold, then they open the valve and then give a little bit of oxygen. So fruit doesn't go into the anaerobic conditions. Yes?
Do they have trouble with dropping pressure with floating?
No, yeah.
Is it cost effective for an individual to build a hyperbaric chamber?
Okay, I'm gonna talk about the economics.
Yeah, who uses here? 'Cause I think
Yes.
Is this used by the water customers?
Yeah, I have a multiple slide to show you. Yes, please. Yes. That's a good question. Was if we have to use the same kind of fruit in the inside of the vacuum chamber? Yes, because every fruit have a different respiration rate. So we cannot use multiple fruit inside of the one unit. So only one unit. One unit is maybe somewhere around 400, 500 pounds inside. So you can just easily same kind of fruit inside. Even as you know, all of the fruit from different blocks, different geographic locations, there's a huge variation among fruit. So you have to put similar physiological the fruit inside of the chamber, so you have a uniform environment. Next slide. So respiration and ethylene production. We studied some modeling with kiwi fruit, left two graph, and then bananas. What we did was we measured the respiration rate inside the vacuum chamber from 1,000 millibar to all the way to 0 millibar. So we cannot go all the way to 0, but we are looking at what is the threshold of the pressure to maintain the lower respiration rate. So from the beginning, it's about 15 milliliter per kilogram per hour CO2 production, and then keep going down, and anything around 300 millibar range, just significantly lower than atmospheric pressure. Same thing, the ethylene production, less than 500 millibar, kiwi ethylene production is significantly reduced. So if we manage the respiration rate low and ethylene production is low, then means the fruit just storing and then better shelf life, fair quality. Same thing for the bananas. Banana is the one of the fruit just generating a lot of ethylenes. And we just tested similar things at 20 degree, and banana somewhere around 250 millibar, the ethylene production is significantly down. So, next slide, please. Okay, what is a Right Blocker? Right Blocker is the brand name. I'm no longer working with this company, but this is the one of the hyperbaric technology recently introduced. So this is the basically plastic round shape vacuum container, and on the right picture, that's the regular reefer container. They can fit 40 Right Blocker vacuum container in one 40-foot reefer container. And it's all pallet size, stackable, and fit in a reefer container. And size is about 44 by 44 by 49 inch high. So perfectly designed to fit 40 chambers inside the reefer. And if you look at the graph over there compared to the relative humidity inside the cold storage versus inside of the vacuum container, and relative humidity in the room is fluctuating somewhere between 60 to 95%, but inside of the vacuum chamber is maintaining higher than 98%. So they are very good maintaining high humidity. So very little dehydration happening inside. And pressure, as you see over there, pressure goes down and then go back up and go down and back up. It's because when they are adding a small amount of oxygen, and pressure goes up, and then once the fruit is consuming the oxygen, and then pressure goes down. So this is not just a consistent same pressure all the time. They have to go up and down and up and down. Okay. You could use vegetable, but most intensively we use the fruit. Yeah. No, whenever we take a vacuum air out, not only the oxygen coming out, but also the volatile compound is coming out as well. Same ratio. So from 100 millibar going down to 10 millibar, basically you just take all of the volatile chemicals 90% of the volatile chemicals coming out as well. No, we're not able to capture. Well, if there's any value, we can get. For example, CO2. They generate CO2. Some commodity is very tolerable to high CO2. What high CO2 can do is they can suppress the fungal growth, and also there's just some insect killing power from high CO2, but not all crops. Because, for example, blueberries is very sensitive to high CO2, and if you keep the CO2 level high, then blueberry is going bad really quick. Right. So depending on the crop, some crop we just maintain high CO2, some is not. Yes.
When you drop the pressure, you're dropping it all the way down to like 10 millibar.
We can go all the way to 0 if the fruit or produce inside is okay. But usually we are not going all the way to 0, but that's their trade secret. What is the minimum threshold they can go below? Because every fruit has a different threshold. They are not sharing those data. So in the ballpark, somewhere around 100 millibar range. Yeah. Okay. Next slide, please. Oh, yes, please.
What were the target crops for the development of agriculture?
Well, they tested many different fruit crops, but they are not able to, well, one of the challenges, this technology is very expensive. So they are not working with potatoes. Only the high value crop. That's why I'm talking about Hawaiian tropical fruit industry, because any high value crop they can work with. And actually, I have a multiple slide from our trial we did in Hilo here. Okay? So this is our first like a mock-up trial using blueberries. So what they did was they packed, put it inside of the vacuum chamber, and delivered from Chile to Hong Kong. There's a disaster story. They just move around, going to China. China rejected, and then they go into other country. They rejected. So ended up after I think 72 days. After 72 days after harvest, they ended up in Hong Kong. As you see over there on the picture on the top, that's the control bulk and also the modified atmosphere packaging, which is the very typical technology for blueberry storage. And white color there, fuzzy one, those are all gray mold fungus. And then bottom one is the hyperbaric technology, finished in the clamshell and also bulk. So if you look at here, the firmness, anything below 70 in Baxlow firmness measurement is non-marketable, it's too soft. But hyperbaric technology is still maintaining around 80. And decay levels, even the MAP bag, modified atmosphere package, is around 18%. And hyperbaric technology is less than 1%. No, this is organic. They didn't spray anything. Yes. Not specific vessel, but they have to modify the reefer container because they have a small control box, like a suitcase size box, and then they have to connect the hose from the control box to each individual chambers. So one control unit controls 20 chambers. They have to put 2 control boxes inside, and they have to connect to the power, and they have to connect to the Wi-Fi. So they are monitoring this oxygen CO2 pressure 24/7 throughout the whole transit time. And if there's any only the power have to maintain all the time. But if they have a Wi-Fi disconnections, but they still capturing all of the data, but we are not able to monitor in real time. So, next slide, please. Okay, after blueberry, they did the cut roses. So, the most of the U.S. cut rose importation is from Colombia. The Colombia just keeps sending their cut flowers, cut roses to Miami, and deliver to the local distribution center. And it takes about somewhere around 7 to 10 days trip. What happened is all of the major holidays like Christmas, Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, to keep up those amount, they have to cut. For example, if they want to provide enough roses to Valentine's Day, they have to pinch the roses in November and December. All of those pinched roses, they have to throw it away because there's no shelf life. And then they produce more flowers for Valentine's Days. So everything need to harvest in January and ship to Miami and then go to the Valentine's Day holiday. But now they are cutting November, December, and then ship to Miami, and they save all of those cut flowers into the vacuum chamber, and they can go to all the way to the Valentine's Days. And also, as you know, the botrytis is a very unique fungi because post-harvest decays is almost all fruit. Flower is same thing. Number one problem is botrytis gray mold. And on the left side, there's a control, and right side is the vacuum chamber. So they are not able to kill fungi, but they can suppress the growth. So they can reduce the total decay level. The control was 8%, and low pressure storage was about 1%. Next slide, please. Okay, after that, the company was working with the tropical fruit. I think that this one was not the first one. We was working with the papaya first, but what we did was, because in the mainland we are not able to sourcing the very high quality tropical fruit, so we are collaborating with USDA Hilo here with the post-harvest physiologist, and sending a small vacuum the research chamber here, and then we conducted multiple tropical fruit trial in here, and this is the one of them, avocado. And this picture is basically out of the Peruvian avocado trials. So what they did is they are sending avocados from Peru to Asia, Europe. It takes a long journey, and after like a month of traveling, and then they have two problems. One is that they have a lot of decay problem. Second one is that their avocado need to be ripening before consuming, but ripening is challenging because every fruit is different, and some of the fruit is too soft and some of the fruit is too hard. It's very difficult to manage the ripening. But once they store the avocado inside of the vacuum chamber, and after that they just going into the ripening process, and there's a better ripening in similar time. So that's what they did. And then compare the weight loss between control versus, they tested two different CO2 level. That's the very common practice they are testing. Low, medium, high CO2. But in this case, avocado did not respond to the CO2 level. So medium CO2 or high CO2, we didn't see much differences. It's not statistically different. And avocado firmness is the one of the key factor because that's the indication of the ripening process. So control, I think this is after 64 days at 5 degrees. Well, 5 degrees is the lowest temperature they can go, but if you go without a vacuum chamber, it got chilling injury. Next slide, please. Here it is. Control fruit got chilling injury at the same temperature, but fruit in the vacuum chamber, there's no chilling injury. So the technology can prevent chilling injury, which means you can go a little bit lower temperature. than the threshold. Next slide, please. Okay, this is the papaya trial we conducted in here in Hilo, and the control there, the fruit itself, inside the fruit flesh is a little bit yellower and more ripening, and then fruit on the left, that's the vacuum chamber. Only challenging for tropical fruit is, as you see over here on the left top pictures, you will see a little white spots. Those are not a decay, but because of the high humidity, most of the tropical fruit, they have a superficial fungal growth on the surface of the fruit. That's one of the big challenges for tropical fruit. Yes, they have to do, either they have to use the very good fungicide before they put it in, or they commonly just the hot water treatment as well. So. Okay, next slide, please. Yes.
One thing I've noticed is you go buy papaya on faith.
Yes. Yes. One of the challenge, well, because it's not from the company, and one of the big papaya producer in Brazil, they are sending green papaya to Europe, and European consumers don't like the green papaya because there's no flavor. So their goal is 60% yellow tree-ripe papaya sending to Europe, but only way they can do is air freight. They cannot do ocean freight, but it's very expensive. So that's why they are looking at this technology. So papaya trial from Brazil to the Netherlands, we did several trials, but same challenge. Everything was good. Fruit tasted good, and fruit flesh was really excellent, but superficial fungal growth on the surface of the fruit, that was the main challenge. Flavor was great, yes. Yes, yeah. Yeah. That is still challenging because with our current technology, there's no way you can reduce the humidity inside. So that's why they are working on the different types of technology. So. Wax? Wax doesn't help much unless you are using fungicide in wax. But most people don't like adding fungicide in the wax. But citrus industry in California, all the time, they use fungicide in wax. So, right. Next slide, please. And also this trial we conducted here, and we used sliced pineapples and whole pineapples, and very similar story. Overall, fresh color was much lighter. Yellow color means more fermented. And the whole fruit, same thing. The greener color is better than yellow color, less ripening. But as you see over here on the right side, hyperbaric pictures, you will see a little fungal growth. Same thing, superficial fungal growth because of the high humidity. That's the main challenge. But overall, fruit quality was good. Yeah. I came here for this trial, and we did the blind taste test, and everything was good. But because of the cosmetic issues with this superficial mold growth, very difficult to commercialize this one yet. I recommend to use the fungicide. They use the thiabendazole, TBG fungicide before they store, but still was not able to eliminate those superficial mold. Yes, because as I said, when they are respiring fruit, then they generate CO2 and heat. Because most of the tropical fruit, they are storing much warmer temperature than other fruits. So that's why we are not able to manage those heat. And because of the heat inside, create a lot of water condensation inside of the chamber. when we open it, you will see water is dropping from the top. So that's create high humidity is not negatively impacting, but free water inside is impacting for the superficial mold growth. Next slide, please. Okay, we did a number of insect trials and using the non-quarantine insect and quarantine insect. And I just want to show a couple slides for fruit flies. Next slide, please. So this is the Queensland fruit fly we conducted with the collaborators in Australia. Queensland fruit fly is the big problem in Australia. And they conducted ambient temperature and cold temperature. And cold temperature itself killed the Queensland fruit fly. But ambient temperature, all lava eggs control, there's thousands of insects still surviving, but vacuum chamber around 50 millibar range, they killed everything. Next slide, please. And Mediterranean fruit fly and Oriental fruit fly, which is we are considering in here. And this study was conducted by USDA ARS in here. And this is the very preliminary study, and we used the egg and larva stage, and we look at the pupa and adult after I think it was about 3 weeks, and we have a very good control on larva stage, but egg stage is somewhere around 70 to 75% control. So it's not 100%. So most of the quarantine pests, they are asking more than 99.99% kill, but we are not able to achieve without any additional chemicals inside. Next slide, please. Okay, ozone, that's why we are working with the ozone. So this is a drip in peony flowers in Alaska. Without ozone, and the vacuum chamber is only goes about 95-96% kill, but adding 10 ppm ozone for very short period of time, we can achieve 100% kill. Next slide, please. Okay, we did another trial in walnut insect. This is not a quarantine pest, but this is the one of the problematic insect on walnut industry. That's why they have to use methyl bromide fumigation for like a Japanese market. It's just mandatory. They have to utilize the methyl bromide fumigation. And we compared the methyl bromide fumigation versus vacuum chamber, and everything was 100% kill. Next slide, please. As I said, there's a multiple challenges, especially in tropical fruit. Number one is overall, it's very expensive compared to any other existing technology, like a controlled atmosphere, MAP bags, and so on. And also once they have a high quality and then maintain all of the fruit shape, taste, everything is better, but most of the retailers and consumers is not willing to pay extra money to buy those high quality fruit. Especially nowadays, most of the high value crops, consumers is already paying high price. So because of the competition, retailers not willing to raise the price. And also because of the shape, round shape, they lose 40% of the space, which means 40% extra cost for the packers and shippers. And also when they are shipping to exporting market, they have to bring the empty chamber back, and there's a backhaul cost. And also we reduce fungal decay, but it's not fungicidal. It's only fungistatic. So that's the main challenge. As I said, all of the tropical fruit, we have a superficial mold growth. That is the main challenge for tropical fruit. And last one, they are redesigning their small plastic vacuum chamber. Again, they are going back to 40-foot reefer container size. Next slide, please. This is not actual container, but they are dreaming making like this. Next slide, please. Okay, what is the benefit for the Hawaiian tropical food industry? Number one is storage and shipping life. We can extend the storage life better. And also we can control the ripening and suppress decay without any additional chemicals. And then instead of air freighting, they can ship by ocean, much lower cost. And can kill some of the insect, phytosanitary replacement, but there's a big challenge because of the USDA PPQ regulation. It's not easy to put the new methodology in their treatment methodology. It takes multiple years, even decades. So for example, cold treatment took more than 20 years. Cold treatment makes sense. You just keep cold enough and all of the fruit fly is dead. But to put this new methodology into the USDA PPQ program, it takes many years. And also one of the benefits is premium branding. Driscoll and Agrovision from Peru, they developed their specialty branding. So Driscoll using Sweetest Batch and Agrovision using Fruitist. You may see this branding in the market. Not only the different variety of the fruit, but also they just make a premium branding compared to regular branding. So the consumers can pay more. And last one is, as I said, high condensation issues. We had to make this high condensation challenge overcome. Next slide, please. Right, I'm going to switch the gear a little bit. So I went to the National Plant Board Safeguard meeting about a month ago. This is all about citrus nursery stocks. What they do is because citrus nursery stock protocol was finalized in 2013, and basically they want to go systems approach. Start clean, stay clean. And they are regulating 3 major quarantine pests in citrus. One of them is Asian citrus psylla, which is the insect vector for HLB disease, and also citrus canker. Next slide, please.
Is HLB breeding?
Yes, yeah. Hongnong bean is the Chinese name, that means yellow dragon disease. So we simply call citrus greening, but acronym is HLB. So currently, they have the mandatory requirement to produce citrus nursery stock in quarantine area. So they have to follow this guideline. And the Florida, Texas, they have a lot of weather-related disasters. And if there's anything happening in their the nursery greenhouse, they consider breach. And when they breach, they are not able to sell those citrus nursery stock to outside of their state. Next slide, please.
Is that breach self-reporting?
I'm sorry?
Is that breach self-reporting?
Oh, well, the question is self-reporting. Yes, and also they have a very frequent inspection and certification through USDA APHIS. Yeah, very often. So one of the guideline is they have to leave it open for the inspectors. Inspectors can go anytime and inspect. I think the current guideline is every 90 days. Because once they got HLV infections, there's a latent period. They are not showing the symptom right away. Yeah. So they have a protocol to sampling and analyzing and testing protocols. So all of the state with Asian citrusicilla quarantine zone, and those citrus nursery stock industry is just asking the USDA and National Plant Board, oh, because just one instance, and if we got 10,000 stocks and they have a little bit of bleach, there's small holes, then they have to throw everything away. Or the only option is they have to sell inside of the state. They are not able to transport to outside of the state. What they are asking is, can we sell this one in non-citrus producing state, like up north, all of the north state? HLB, they need two. One is the Asian citrusilla or HLB disease. If one of them is missing, there's no HLB. Like Hawaii, we have a Asian citrusilla, but we don't have a HLB. Yes, unless we got the HLB coming in, then it's a big problem. Or if you have a HLB, but there's no ACP, Asian citrusilla, there's no way they can the vector the disease. So all of the northern state does not have ACP. So the request from those quarantine zone is, can we transport to the non-citrus growing area? Next slide, please. So after the meeting, and especially California and Hawaii, I was the Hawaii state representative. We have a concern because when they are shipping citrus nursery stock to a non-citrus producing state, and somebody go there and bring those citrus stock into Hawaii with HLB is a big problem. There's no way we can prevent those. So we want to maintain both California. Some counties have a HLB quarantine zone. They have a ACP and HLB. Besides those area, non-quarantine area, there are still very strict regulation for HLB. So we want to maintain very strong regulation to introducing those citrus root stock coming through the non-citrus producing area. So the National Plant Board and USDA gonna go through the task force team and then developing a new protocol, how they can review and revise those protocols. But we strongly advocate from California and Hawaii, we don't want to change the protocol. So, next slide. Yes. That's correct. Yeah, because the especially Maui area, we have a large production of lime, and it's very vulnerable to HLB. So that's why we try to do our best to protect anything coming in with HLB.
We support what you're doing to protect.
I think. Yeah, I think that we have to maintain our state regulatory process. There's no mandatory following the federal guideline. As long as we maintain our state guideline, and then our plant quarantine branch just inspecting everything, that's what we are proposing. But there's a challenge because there's an e-commerce. Same thing, California is really concerning about e-commerce because e-commerce just moving around the plant materials everywhere. So how we can prevent those e-commerce, all of the infected plant material coming through e-commerce. That's the main challenge. Not only Hawaii, but every state has a challenge. So, yes.
But like you were one of your that's a great system for preserving the foods and staying alive, but it's a very expensive system to operate. And I just wondered how the Trump tariffs have affected you and the pieces of that transportation and that all that. That personally, or do you know how much it's affecting you personally?
Right. The question was how the Trump tariff affected this hyperbaric technology. Yes, there's two major impact. One is they are utilizing aluminums coming from outside, and aluminum prices goes up, then overall price is going to go up. It's very challenging. Number two is they are thinking about manufacturing this vacuum reefer container from China, because we are not able to compete against the Chinese. I think almost all reefer container is manufacturing from China. Vacuum container versus regular container is 10 times difference. So regular reefer container somewhere around 10 to 20,000 per container, but this one they are aiming for 100,000. Yes, right. Yeah, that's correct. Still, the price is the main challenge.
Isn't the tariff from China right now 50%?
Yes, yes. Yeah, there's a multiple challenges still existing, but technology is out there. Somebody need to overcome those challenges, because number one is as a consumer, if you have a better quality fruit, are you willing to pay 50 cents or $1 more? If they say yes, then yes, right? Yeah.
So,
Yes.
plant quarantine issue, sorry if it's already mentioned. For us, we get controlled import permits, it goes through a rigid USDA inspection, it goes into our containment greenhouse quarantine, highest level quarantine greenhouse. If we have to take another 3 to 5 days for the state inspection on top of the USDA inspection, that's gonna be a problem until that stops, it's barely surviving. We're going to Thailand to look for a specific tree, with a permit, and send it back their route. So, I don't wanna have to go through two inspections from 2 different agencies for the same thing.
Mm.
So is there a possibility you would work side by side with, on plant importation with USDA inspectors?
Okay, well, suggestion from Ken is just, can we import those citrus nursery stock from other countries? I think that might be a
Not just
one.
citrus, but
Yeah,
like
other-
guava.
Right. Well, anything coming from the disease-free or insect-free area, that's the best option. But even though those citrus nursery stock going through the non-citrus producing area, we still have a chance to get those citrus stock coming into the Hawaii, because even though we have a very strong biosecurity program, we are not able to search everybody's luggage and then find their plant materials.
So why would somebody smuggle in citrus
Yes.
from another country when all you gotta do is go to Safeway and you can buy it? And it's almost the same thing. The USDA and a congressional record showed that HLB could be traveled in sea.
Especially the HLB is highly regulated, currently highly regulated by USDA. And also we have additional protection from state regulatories.
But can you work with the USDA to save time on sensitive plant material so that it doesn't have to go through an inspection in their headquarters in Honolulu for APHIS inspection, and then have to go over to your inspection lab and for
The question was, can we,
Any species.
yeah, import any plant material without going through the USDA and our state inspection process, two inspection process? I think the idea is we just collaborating with USDA, and also depending on the risk level. If the high risk plant material coming in, I think no matter what we do, USDA is going to inspect. USDA has their own high risk pest, and Hawaii Department of Agriculture and Biosecurity, we have our own high risk the list. So if those are low risk from federal, then we can just collaborating with USDA and make a much simpler regulatory process. But it's all depending on what is the risk of those pests or diseases.
Government shut down, are you shut down?
Question is, government shut down, we are shut down. We don't.
You know how many people have spoke from the Department of Ag, they're not shut down. This is the first time in 35 years that the feds have not been part of the conference. Not been part of the
Yeah.
conference.
Thank you.
Some of it is shut down though, Jim.
No, Sharon might like to shut it down sometimes.